Well, I've always enjoyed doing episodes in person, but that doesn't mean I'm in the studio right now. But I'm in an even better place, I would say. It's an office of Kickstart FC. And I'm bringing you this episode exclusively from the founder's cabin, I would say. So in case you hear any disturbances, but I'm sure our editors must have taken care of that. Now, let me welcome two lovely gentlemen here, Shekar Rajan and Laxman Bhattarai. Shekar is the chairman and Laxman is the CEO of Kickstart FC. Before I kickstart with this episode, let me welcome all the lovely listeners who are listening to the Totally Indian Football Show. I'm the host, Siju. Gentlemen, I'm really, really happy to be here. Thanks to Uni as well for getting this done. Let me start with Laxman. If you can probably give us a bit about, as we were talking before the episode could start, that you guys have, kept your head down, feet on grounded and just worked. So if you can give us a bit about, brief about you and what you do and how you started your journey with Kickstart.
Well, hello to everybody who's listening to this. Basically, in 2000 till 2015, I was working in a chartered accountancy, an institute as a auditor. So I'm qualification by I'm a CA, but then somewhere down the line I was missing this interesting thing in my life, that is football, because football is something which is very close to my heart, and I always wanted to do something exclusively in football. So when I got this opportunity in 2015, I decided that okay, enough is enough. I think let's go with my passion rather than doing something which is regular and all those things. And I know Shekar sir, the chairman of this club from 2009. Yeah, we've been friends, and we used to play in every part of the Bangalore, wherever the turf is there. So we used to go play at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, And then one fine day I just told him that I think rather than going and searching for the grounds, why don't we do something of our own? And that's when this dream of Kickstart started. And we started our venture in 2016 as a partnership. So we started Kickstart partnership, and July 9th. Recently, we just celebrated the 7th year. So it's been amazing. I could not have dreamt more than this. Yes, a lot of hard work has gone behind this, but we keep working hard, and hopefully the dream is to be in the I-League and ISL very soon.
I think you mentioned the special occasion as well, the 7th year, and I think that just adds to my excitement of doing this episode. And two special occasions. One is the team were runners-up in the IWL, and also the 7th year that you guys just recently celebrated. And I think not a better way for us to do this episode and for me to bring the story out of Kickstart FC. Shekar sir, coming to you, if you can just tell us a bit more about you and how did this all start and how did you come up with Kickstart FC?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Kickstart for me is a hidden story in my bloodline for a long time. My dad is a national level footballer. My brother is a national footballer. I was the odd man out. I was into athletics with an engineering degree that I needed to complete in India. It truncated after winning the South Zone Championship because I sorted out my priorities. I was into management and consulting, more in the leadership space, capacity building, helping big companies, do their leadership right. Then I was somewhere at the back of my mind, it was always there because I was constantly giving back to football. Some of the state players who are retired right now, but these young boys then needed some boots and needed their support. I used to play with them. I was in a football pocket in, Pottery Town, close to Pottery Town. I was just living in Benson Town. So we developed this affinity for footballers because my father was one who started with nothing. Because as a freedom fighter's grandson, my father being an orphan at 4 years old with nothing to fall back. So he's fought his way up. The ball kept rolling. Life kept happening. So it's the football that changed our lives. I am here because of football. And of course, my mom and dad marriage happened because of football, because my dad being a footballer. So that's how it happened. And it all had to come back one big round when I met Laxman in the CA Institute. Then we started playing together. And we decided, yes, enough is enough. Let's do our other thing. And I also had this deeper calling, creating other organizations, getting good money, staying in a swanky hotel, getting chauffeured around. Yeah, that also, leads to boredom after some time. You stay in the best of the places, best of the food, best of intellectual stimulation. But then you're not there. So you should create your own organization is what I thought. In sports, it had to be. And then we started. And when we started, we wanted to make a different thing. That's how we both are. We wanted to do always be clear and above the rest. So we just don't want to be a Me Too kind of a club or a Me Too kind of an identity. We don't have that. So keeping that in mind, what we did is we set up our own ground, a 32,000 square feet ground in JP Nagar, which was in the JP Nagar 9th phase, in a place called Jumbo Savari Dinne. Of course, the land belonged to one Mr. Manjunath, and then I personally had to go to China to check and select the turf. We got it in, we got the ball rolling, and within 2 months or 3 months, we had about 300 kids in the academy. That's the vision of how it's all started. And then one thing led to another. So people were saying, wow, what a nice surface. And they were enjoying because it was the first of its kind at that time. And then the academy and, of course, the association with the KSFA has a big role to play. And before we entered KSFA, we had an amazing person at that time. He's still amazing and bigger now, both in size and in his stature. So Satya Narayana, who's the current general secretary of the KSFA, way back then started the foundation with us. So we wanted to have this foundation built immediately alongside with the Kickstart, FC Academy, because Laxman eventually went out and started venturing. He's a very adventurous guy. He started building his network in PSV Eindhoven and went to Holland himself personally, put the bridges down, and we said we'll have a partnership going. So immediately we got into a partnership. We started with the foundation. We got the kids together. We suddenly had this dream of taking kids to Holland, and that is the dream. This picture behind my back. We went up to four matches we had in Holland, and trust me, we won all the four. The first one was a 6-0 defeat for Zeebergia. If we go back, those guys are going to make mincemeat out of us. But this time, I think our junior teams are equally doing the job. So that was way back in 2018. And from that cohort of players we took, we identified an Indian talent, Nikhil Raj, who played for ISL and who also played for the India Under-21, played for the Indian Arrows. That was a big success for us. And after which, the moment we came back from Holland, our, focus shifted because they said you should start a women's team soon. So we said how and why. Again, the KSFA started a tournament without me knowing. I started another company called Impetus Sports. Now that company specializes in infrastructure and all that. So we sponsored eventually, in the 7th year award ceremony or the briefing that we had with Satya, he kind of gone back and told us that 30,000 rupees is what I gave. I totally forgot about it. I didn't even know I gave 30,000 rupees as a match winner's money, and we gave trophies for the women. And we were like, okay, it's happening. So they called me. I just gave the trophy. And then suddenly this, out of the blue, this Laxman and everybody thought we should make our own team. And then we got in Kalidasan from Chennai, who had a lot of work being done at the school level. And he came in, he just gelled, and then they formed the team. And then we saw the power of what empowering a girl can do. You empower a girl, you change a family. You empower a guy, you only empower his pocket. There's a lot of difference. These boys want to wear big clothes, swanky this, swanky that, make a little bit of money, buy a bike, and that's where the whole story ends. But girls are not like that. Girls want to give back. Girls want to take care of their family. And first title, people thought it was a fluke. Second, they thought, oh, yeah, second year when we won the KWL championship, they said, oh, maybe chance. And third time when we did it, it was an unbeaten streak of hat-trick championships, unbeaten in any match. Fourth, when we did it, they said, okay, now these guys are strong. And we deliberately lost a game for tactical reasons. And then we ended up, winning the fourth title also. The 4 consecutive champions made a clear statement of what girls can do for us. Girls feel very safe. They identify Laxman like another mother, and that is a big plus. And safe and being comfortable with us, talking about anything under the sun. We take care of everything and anything for the girls. And as a result, we participated in 3 IWLs, and the third one we are runners up, and we almost beat them, if not for the match duration and the location, which was very, very hot and inhospitable. So we focused on that, and then we won it, and then we are very happy for the support that we got. And this has been our journey. And in the meantime, we also set up a residential academy in our second ground. Right now, we have 110 kids. So this place is buzzing from 5:30 in the morning and only sleeps at 10 o'clock when the kids go to sleep. We have our own kitchen. We eat the same food. So this morning, I happened to come at 6 o'clock, right? And that's not my time. I usually come by about 10 o'clock and I'm here till about 11, 12, or sometimes 1 or 2, depending on my calls or my documentations that I need to do. We've grown from 4 people to 50 people now, managing 110 residential kids. And then I would say 110 plus non-residential kids in one location. Second location is up. So we're going to have 11-a-side and a 9-a-side together in one complex. And then we're going to put a residential facility. Aspiration is to have 6 grounds in Bangalore and then push it all over India and be 100 grounds by 2030. I know the numbers, something Uni and Laxman saying, be moderate. I don't believe in moderation for dreams. So that's what has got us until here.
I think probably we can end the episode right here, right? We've got the entire picture, and I think this is like the great pathway, everything from start till the end. But let me come to you and pick your brain on this. He also mentioned, and when I was reading up, your travels to many places, right? We've often seen partnerships with foreign clubs in Indian football. And I think Uni sitting right beside me would agree that we've also often kind of seen how things don't go well. We just see it as an exposure thing where nothing really works out much. It's just an exposure thing. Okay, the kids go, come back, or maybe the staff goes, comes back, and there's nothing much that we see. But if you can probably take us to the challenges that you had while bridging this partnership, and then the success of the partnership, that you kind of also got woven some game time there for the kids, and like Shekar mentioned that you also had one talent come out from there. So probably give us a brief about the challenges and then what was a success kind of thing, and how do you rate the success of that partnership?
There was a person, his name is Mr. Peter, who also I consider as my godfather. He was in Goa in 2016. It so happened that, he was identifying a lot of young coaches, in India. He used to do this program, and he was in Bombay that point of time. So he said, why don't you come to Goa? And then they are trying to scout some Indian coaches, and if you can kind of participate in this program, you have an opportunity to go to Holland. So I said, why not? So that's how this started. And I was really lucky because by end of December in 2016, when you started Kickstart, so I got my name picked. So this was for PSV Foundation. And the first time, like I said, it was like a dream come true for me. Being a footballer, always I wanted to, kind of go to abroad and see what's happening there. So I got an opportunity to travel to Paris first. I was there for 3 days. And the moment I landed in Paris, it was like, it was a different culture of football altogether. I got a stadium tour of, Parc des Princes, which is a stadium PSG. And from there, I went to Holland. I was in Ajax Amsterdam. I got an opportunity to train few, kids who are the age of 8 to 10. And this happened all through the PSV Foundation. I was very, very thankful to Mr. Peter for helping me to do this. I also got an association with a local club where I was staying. It's called Sun and Bruegel, SBC. And through Mr. Peter only, I got a meeting with the chairman. So he was chairman then. His name is Mr. William. So I had a brief talk with him, and then he said, okay, I'll give you a time. So before traveling to India, you can have a meeting and present whatever, story you are having. So I was very nervous because I was there for 15, 20 days. I was doing coaching. I was learning a lot of things. I was traveling throughout Holland, understanding the football and how the football is there. And it was really, really overwhelming for me because coming from India, where there's a lot of talent, but then it's not a structure. And to see such a structure program in Europe, it was really, really a big thing for me. Then just before leaving to India, I had an opportunity. I went to have to meeting with Mr. William and his team, and then I did a presentation regarding Kickstart. And what excited them was more than Kickstart Academy, it was Kickstart Foundation, the good work that we're doing in the foundation. And then he asked me you guys are doing so many things, and who's supporting you? I said, nobody's supporting us. We are supporting the kids because this is something that my chairman, Mr. Shekar Rajan, and we wanted to do for something to the society. And seeing the football culture in Bangalore, if you see, the entire talent comes from those, very humble backgrounds. These are the kids whose parents are auto drivers, janitors. So there's a lot happening here. But then we wanted to give something back to them when we're doing so much in football. So I presented the story of Kickstart Foundation, and he was like very happy. He said, okay, good, I want to support to this cause, so tell me what is that you need. Then I told him, say, as of now we are not looking for funding, we are not looking for anything. All we need is, can you bring these kids here? And then when you bring them here, maybe, it will be a good story, and also they will have a lot of, kind of confidence. They'll also have an idea of how the European football works. So before that, I had an opportunity. So I took Shekar sir along with me. We had one more partner. So 4 of us, we went, and then we presented the entire, a plan, and they gave us enough and more time to, structure this whole thing. So in 2018, finally, we could take these kids out there. The whole purpose of taking these kids was to show them, how the European football works, and seeing those big stadium, seeing that kind of fan base and all those things. I wanted them to live the dream that, I was living those couple of months and all those things. And it so happened that when I took these 18 kids, trust me, they were in tears. The first time they were sitting in the flights, they had never seen, what is a business class, what is the kind of infrastructure inside the airport itself. So that was also such a big thing for the kids and all those things. We landed in, Holland. We were in Amsterdam. From there, we went and played a couple of matches and all those things. Yes, it took some time, some effort from 2016, 2018, 2 years for us to make this happen. But finally, when we did it, it was a great opportunity for us, for the kids. And also, I had an opportunity to work with French Football Federation, FFF, and I was in Clairefontaine with the under-14 national team of France. And there's a person called Michelle, who helped me for that. And that point of time, I got an opportunity to meet she was the then chairman of, the PSG Foundation, Christiana Legal, and Sabrina Delaunay, who is a French national captain. And when I presented the entire concept of Kickstart and the foundation, all those things, they were only for women empowerment. They said, if you have a women's team, because on the following year, there was a World Cup for women's happening in France. They said, why don't you bring your women's team? And then we didn't have a women's team at all. Then they said, okay, fine. If you don't have a women's team, bring your men's team also. We have no problem, because we want to host you here in Paris and we want you to experience. So, this kept on happening. So that point of time, we had to choose between Paris or to Holland. But then I felt, Holland will have been a better option for the kids, and because there they were being scouted. And trust me, when they had gone to play with the match with FC Eindhoven, 5 of the kids from this foundation were scouted. But because they were minors, they were below 18, they didn't get a professional contract. And they said, okay, come after, when they become 18. And so we got them back. They had a great experience, a great time. And more than that, they learned what is, European football is all together, And from there, from the same batch till now, I've kept hold of 5 players, out of which, I think many of them have become, good footballers. They have gone to different clubs. But 5 of them are still in my club, and one of them is Nikhil Raj, who's an Indian national player. The other guy, the other few of them have got government jobs. So this has been the success story for these 18 kids. It was not easy, but with all the team support and all, we made it. And I especially want to thank, I think, the SBC chairman, Mr. William, Mr. Peter, and so many other people who, that point of time helped us and make this dream come true.
Great. I mean, that was quite a journey. Shekar, if I had to ask you, been in footballing since, from the time you're born, because your father was a player as well, and then understanding Indian football to its bits, like I was saying, it's a similar question to what is your take on this partnerships with European clubs or any club outside? Yeah. Because as I said, we don't see much of benefits or fruits come out of these partnerships, yes, rather than just, probably the Indian clubs losing a lot of money, yeah, just for marketing gimmicks. So how do you see that as a benefit to Indian football, and how it has actually benefited Kickstart FC as well?
We did, during our Holland trip, for the second time, we ventured out and got a Superliga coach from Denmark. Well, it was a lot of money we invested. I wouldn't say wasted, because the relationships are still strong. We can call them up, and even though we had it, I personally had a tiff with Lars, the coach, directly. I almost went for his throat. But we are great friends. We still talk to each other. And that's the intent. And he turned around and told Laxman, if a coach is not performing, every owner will do the same. And I respected him a lot. And today he's the national coach for the the Danish under 19 team. So he's always told us, Shekar, you want to use my name, you want to put me anywhere, fly me down, I'm always game. So the thing is, we need to have the right system. Now we've also matured in our process in this relationship. So from the Indian context, I would say if clubs are giving 11-month contracts to our own coaches and our own staff, right, whether you're an ISL or anything, that is not the right way to go about. You're not institutional building. Institutions are built by people and how much you invest around them and on them. So how much of support we can give, what is the direct feedback? You need to nurture them because we are not a very mature football business environment, right? Compared to Europe, which are all set, run, and we are getting there. See, in the inception, IT industry also went through the same phase. Today we have such brilliant minds. Some of the biggest companies are run by Indians. We already have Indians running one of the biggest club. I'm so proud of it. I don't know if he's Indian roots, but I know he's an Indian for sure. He runs Arsenal, right? So it's just a matter of time that we teach the rest of the world why the nice guys finish on top. And for us, the European clubs, also need to understand we are not a country, we are a continent. We are 1/3 of the population almost of the world. 1.4 billion is our strength. And the recent SAF games was a goosebump feeling for anybody who was around. The stadium capacity was 23,000. Officially, we had 26,000 inside. There was enough space for everybody. Everybody's heart was thumping. We wanted only one thing, the sport should grow. But coming back to your question, these partnerships that we do, the Europeans need to understand to identify the right people with a long-term vision. Unfortunately, in India, big names don't even have a small piece of their own ground. They run their business on rented government infrastructure. And when you take, even our big ISL club in our city doesn't own a stadium, which they have more than capacity to build one. So the monetization of the stadium is another ballgame altogether. People need to understand how to use an infrastructure. And that comes with intent. It comes with focus. It comes with exposure. That's what the sports leaders need. So today, when we are looking out for partners in Europe, we dictate terms. They don't. We will go to a club which listens to us. Yes, of course, we are just an IAWL club. We are not ISL yet, but we will get into ISL. But then if we in India get our ground act together, there's a huge value proposition we want to give to Europe. And if Europeans are able to see that, and we are going to be very, very strong with our IT background and our prowess with IT. If we can do it in the way we want to use technology to the highest and get the things falling in place, why Europe will just fall in place, right? And we are the strongest emerging country in terms of economy. China is a different ballgame. They tried with football and they failed. I feel sorry for them. But in India, it is not going to fail because it will overtake every sport and, it will happen. But the Europeans need to be patient. They need to identify the right partner. They need to commit to the right cause. We are going to be the biggest talent factory. Remember, when we got independence, nobody would ever have thought that we are the biggest talent provider to the world IT business. The technology, cutting-edge technology, you see everywhere there are Indians on it. Today, the Middle East is run by Indians. Every financial sector in the Middle East has Indians in their thing. Predominantly South Indians in the finance line. Why every company in India prefers a South Indian, a chartered accountant from South India. And this is an innate intelligence. This is a great nation. We've provided so much for the world. Just a matter of time. It is just a matter of time when we provide to the world. If Egypt can create Mo Salah, India will create many more. It's just a matter of time. Be patient. These partnerships will bear fruit. Europeans will come running to our doorstep, and this will happen.
So, coming to the good part of the women's team, right? We don't see many clubs or academies get into the women's side, or it comes with its own challenges, and I don't think any of us can blame those clubs and academies. It's a hands-full job. It's like you mentioned initially as well. The whole, more than anything, is safety parameters that you have to offer too, because from the country that we come from, to convince parents and the family, to bring out the kids. And that's where you've gained success more, right? When you look at IWL or even the Karnataka State League, I think Kickstart was making all the right noises, even among journalists, us on Twitter. Like, shout out to Sandeep, who's been following Bangalore football very closely. I think he used to keep talking about Kickstart, of how they're doing so well in the Karnataka League. And I think only time that you also, kind of stormed your feet onto the IWL scene as well. So, what has your learnings been like, starting off, or the challenges to start off with the girls' academy, and now a proper team that you have in the IWL that is cutthroat, competing with the other biggies out there? So, Laxman, you can start and then you can add.
When in 2019 we started the women's team, right? So our clear vision was, okay, we have got an opportunity to do something what many clubs haven't done it. That is empowering women. So it was not just a club for the women that we wanted to do. We wanted to make a definitely a difference in Bangalore football, because when we participated first year, I think there were hardly 6-7 teams, and we were the 8th team, and we directly got into Super Division. So the first year, the team what we put, so it was a very good and challenging team as well, because I had to kind of look around for the kind of entire thing, the setup, and we were there in JP Nagar at that point of time, and we didn't have a residential facility that then, but thanks to these girls, trust me, I know, we just gave them one room. It was a big room and a school building, and we just got a few mattresses for them, and everything else they took care of themselves. All I did was I made sure that there's a 24/7, there's a security provided for them, and there's a food always provided for them, and rest everything, like morning and evening they used to train, and 2 times in a day. And for 30 days we had off season, we did our pre-season, we played a couple of friendly match with our own academy boys in the campus, because we were the first team, right? So there's nobody to kind of play a competitive game. So everybody was wondering, okay, what Kickstart is coming with the Super Division team, what will be like, because we're in the men's sector already. So we kind of started playing the game, and one after the other, thanks to Kalidasan, because he had a very good grip of Indian women's football. He was already been a big success in Tamil Nadu, and then having him as a head coach, then my manager Savana, who was already kind of looking after a lot of other things and all, and I have another coach, his name is Raghu Kumar. So with this 4 members team, we had no women in the system as well. At that point of time, we didn't have had a physio, because we just kind of, they used to come only for the matches. So we started our journey, and we kind of, the girls started first thing for the girls is you need to make sure that they are safe. And when that feelings of safety comes to the girls, then they will give 100%. So that is the first thing that I did right, and then we had to make sure that, they don't feel uncomfortable around us. They don't feel uncomfortable, kind of training there. And every time when they were kind of having their food, or, whether they're sleeping, like I said, I made sure that, there's a warden, the lady who's going to be taking care of them. So that started, and we end up becoming a, champion that season. It was an amazing, interesting season. But then second year, the challenge were even more, we had a lot of other challenges, because now you become a champion already in the first year. So to keep up the same thing, and then to kind of bring this whole professionalism to the, to the system. So we started scouting the players 6 months in advance. We already had the players, almost half the players, almost 10-15 players were from the first year squad itself. And the remaining half, again, there was a lot of challenges. The parents were not comfortable sending them back again here. And they were coming from very humble background. They wanted to go and study, work. So many things happen in between, so we had to miss out a couple of good players. Then I started scouting few other players, again, end up having some 20-25 girls players, started training them for almost 2 to 3 months. And then again, we became a champion. So that is the year we kind of went for the first time in IWL. So what happened was we didn't know the standard of IWL then. We were like, yes, first time we're getting an opportunity. It is happening in Bangalore. Do you want to participate? I said, yeah, of course. We are champion. Why not to participate? So we said, okay, let's go. But then the quality of the players that I was having that point of time, so our team, we said, okay, let's go ahead with them. And we also got few players from outside. But trust me, that was such an eye-opener for us, because all the Indian players, the Asalata Devi, the Anjutama, all the Sweetie Devi, everybody were there. And first game we had with Crispa, and we lost 3-0. I said, oh, this is the reality check for Kickstart. So that was a big lesson learning for us. But one thing what we did good was we put all our homegrown players, the players who were training for last 2 years, and they competed. And in the group of 5, we ended up becoming third, and that was a good positive result for us. We felt that. So then the things started changing. Okay, now we know the standard of Bangalore football in the KWL Karnataka Women's League, what you're supposed to do, but then IWL is an entirely different ball game together. And that was the season what Gokulam became a champion, and we took a lot of inspiration from Gokulam and Crispa, and we end up doing a lot of right things. We made a lot of changes in the system, and then the third year, then the fourth year, so. It's been a long journey, right? But then I feel the success of the women's team in Kickstart is only because the first and the most important thing what we do for them is we make sure that their safety is taken care, right? And they feel safe here. And rest everything's their hard work, their dedication, everything is put on by the girls. There's nothing called as the talent or something like that. Here, everybody's an average player who comes here. It's just that how we put them, how we communicate with them, how you motivate them, and how to bring them together. So this thing we are doing very correctly, and that's why we've been successful.
Well, I only watch things from a distance. So we ensured the moment we got into this Kalyanagar facility, we have access to medical support. And so there are a lot of times I've taken girls to a gynecologist for whatever reasons. They're as good as my own daughters. So we have a friend whose wife, he's a doctor. She's also a doctor, Dr. Usha. We invited her over and she was very helping. So there were times they actually scared us with stomach pain and things like that, and people were rushed. So they were not, at 2 a.m, our driver and our managers would invariably take them, or sometimes, most of the time, Kali was there. And at 2 o'clock, I received a call saying this girl has got a stomach problem. Then I went rushing at 2:30 in the night. I just took the car. We stay pretty close, so we went there. I spoke to the doctor. He said, no, it's a gastric issue, nothing else. I was suspecting that it was appendicitis and things like that. So yeah, we pay attention to the minutest things. We ensured there's a lady of physio, and these are things I take care of. And of course, Laxman does a lot more, which he did not mention. This kitchen where we have 100 kids staying, the girls stay here. But when the girls come, it's party time. So they get into the kitchen, they start cooking. I think we will share some videos there was one girl whose name I don't want to mention. She's a very dear player to us. She ended up eating 35 or 40 momos, which they cooked themselves. So they make momos for all of us. We cook for them. They show their Northeast culinary. And South Indian, though, our girls don't want to cook because we have the best South Indian chefs. So they kind of mix and match. So, and of course, Laxman ensures he gives them a good treat, spoils them once in a way, takes them to the mall, and makes them eat a lot of KFC chicken and things like that. So that is the level of care. We have an exclusive medical box. We ensure everything is done for them. And I remember on the third, after winning the third championship for the third time, this is the moment I even go back to that thing, I get emotional. We had a great time. We went to a great resort and we had lovely food, good music. Girls were all decked up like real girls. Usually seeing them in shorts and boots. They are as good as guys. But that day they were all dressed up. There was makeup on their face. They were looking very, very beautiful. So we went to this great resort and then we had some lovely food and we wanted to give appreciation to everybody. We wanted to give cash in their hand. They were all going home. I don't know what happened. At about 4 o'clock, I thought, I won't say bad things happened, but then one or two of them started breaking down. So these girls started reflecting upon everything. It was a feeling that all of them were getting married and going back to their mother-in-law's place. They started howling. They started crying. They asked for forgiveness. I'm like, what the hell? Forgiveness for what? No, we tried. We did this. We did that right. But we don't feel like going home. I'm like, come on, this sounds very dangerous. And this Margaret was a very, very strong girl. I think she cried the most. I don't know for what she cried, but she cried. And we came back at about 7 o'clock. I thought my episode is done. So this man, Laxman, was there when they were going to the airport. The episode didn't stop. They were feeling so bad. They were thanking him so much. They had a great time. And many of them, and now if you tell Kickstart is calling, they just pack their bags. Mother say, please get out. You're going to Kickstart, leave. You're safe. You're having a gala time. They're making their own food. And so for us, it's not just a team. See, many clubs throw money and get players. For us, it's not about throwing money. We throw love, we throw affection, we throw a lot of care. So every small detail is taken care. So today, the girls who have understood our culture come running back to us. There are few who run behind the money. We're not going to blame them because they have a very limited shelf life. So there's nothing wrong about that. But this is unique to Kickstart. And you won't believe it. There was a kid that was caught in the residential academy doing a small mistake. So made him write a confession letter. So he ended up howling, started crying. He said, do anything to me. Any punishment is okay, but don't send me back home. So, and I broke down because I would never see a grown-up child. I mean, he's not grown up. He's about 15 or 14. But what I'm saying is this is the strength of Kickstart. We invest in people irrespective of what the outcome is going to be. We invest continuously. And there are people who've gone to bigger clubs from us only to come back, even in the men's side. So this entire institution is built on so much of love and care and affection. None of us feel we are working. And unfortunately, some of them have to go home like Uni. But then I know there's a lot of reluctance. He bought his daughter. I think it's just a matter of time. She's just 3 years. She's going to be a footballer for sure. And she's gonna take over very soon. And then I think Uni is going to end up being Sundays also here because she is going to demand, Papa, I want to go to Kickstart. If you're not coming, it's okay. I'm going to take a cab. That will be the happiest day of my life.
Uni, no pressures there. Well, coming to the point of being from Karnataka, right? We've seen the whole upscale in Karnataka football. And there was a time, this is something I keep often saying. I had Satya sir also on the show a couple of months back. And I mentioned the fact that, Karnataka football, I think even Unni will agree, that on Twitter there was this whole buzz about that you guys are not doing well. It was known and evident out there, like how bad Karnataka football is doing in the state. And there was a completely shift when Satya sir took over and his team took over, and then credit where it's due. Also, the good part was also shown. Yeah. So being in that fraternity, and you mentioned about Satya sir even before, how has that benefited? I mean, he would always say it's not me, it's about the team as well. Yes. But at the same time, how do you see the shift? Because you've been here, right? And how has that helped? Because today, I think if you look at Bangalore, it's become, I wouldn't say it's almost becoming the football hub of India, right? Recently, the SAF Cup and everything. Yeah. So how do you see that shift, and how do you see this going by, and, as a positive change for Karnataka football?
I'm very happy you asked me this because I'm going to say a little bit of in Kannada and then I'll come back. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಮಾತಿದೆ, ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಆಚೆಯಿಂದ ಬರೋರ್ನ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಹಕಾರ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ದೊಡ್ಡವ್ರು ಮಾಡಿ ಬೆಳೆಸಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ with the Kaveri river flowing is only groomed startups. Everybody from the world wants to set out in Bangalore. That's a hospitality that we carry. But yes, of course, we are losing our traditional identity of being a true cosmopolitan because of various reasons. I don't want to be political on that. But the spirit of Bangalore lives. If you see, I've had open tiffs with Satyana, not once, many times, right? But for the love and the respect for each other and what he's accomplished is phenomenal. First of all, he came and he changed the entire way people look at football. Girls never used to come. There's exclusive clean toilets, at least to whatever is available in the stadium. And first time he was overwhelmed with only thing that is needed is a stadium of our own. If hockey can have it, football can have it. And I can tell you, with Harris sir and Satya sir at the helm of affairs, we're going to have a world-class infrastructure in the heart of the city. That's going to definitely happen. All of us contribute. Any club, when Satyana asked for anything, during COVID times, he said, Shekar, can you help from the Kickstart Foundation? 9 localities. Each locality got 40 sets of uniforms printed with different colors, with different things to come back. So Kickstart Foundation was there and we supported him. So anytime he asks, he wants to do the youth league, our grounds are also available. You won't believe it. Between us and KSFA, we have not gone ahead and settled certain accounts in saying, in terms of money, how much we should get, how much he should get. Because the nurturing that comes from KSFA is phenomenal. Right? People, the rest of the football fraternity may feel, KSFA and Kickstart are the same entity. We are not. we draw inspiration because his exposure has been different. He's been a global journalist. But if you see my exposure, I've been a professional at a global level, and Laxman has been, having a very different experience from the corporate side. So when we bring all this together, it's not only Kickstart. I mean, most of the clubs here, including South United or BFC, BFC has thrived in Bangalore, right? Use the local flavor very well and things like that. It's a learning process for all of us. The entire ecosystem is changing in Bangalore. So today, if you go to Northeast and say, boss, you want to conduct a trial, you will be amazed at the number of responses we got from Imphal, right? I think Laxman did this trial for almost 3 days. I don't know how many young kids he saw. We have a challenge because we cannot accommodate. Most of them are very, very poor. We can open the floodgates. I wish we had the money to do this. And trust me, we will get there. People will put money on football because football is going to change this country. And it's going to bring in a new force. And it is starting with Karnataka. And the Manjapad is going to start moving into Karnataka. Karnataka will get into Manjapad. We'll have so much respect for each other, and all this, battering that happens on the social media is just on the surface. But we never saw that when the Indian team was playing. Everybody came, everybody sang Vande Mataram or whatever, national anthem, everybody stood in pride. So we are going to show the way to the rest of the world. And Bangalore, like it has been the IT hub, is going to be the football hub. Watch out, we are coming. And we are coming not only for India, we are coming for the world.
A final question, a common one to both, to end with. Laxman, I'll start with you. 7 years that you've completed, and what's the way ahead? And of course, it's not the 7-year vision that you've put. I'm sure it's more 100+ years that you've probably put down, right? So as someone who's been there since inception, how do you see the years panning out? And as people who are following Indian football and Kickstart closely, what can we expect in the coming years?
Well, when we started Kickstart, honestly, I know the first day also, we had a vision that we wanted to build a infrastructure, and that was his idea that, let's do infrastructure, let's do some ground booking, let's run some tournaments, and let's earn some money. That's a very simple way we kind of kept it. But then I said, no, let's do an academy, and August is when 2016 we started the Kickstart Academy. And trust me, today, we have trained more than 590 professional players. A lot of players from then, I think a few of them have become Indian national players. Few have represented the state in various competition. Many. Yes, many. But then, of course, that the stats always is there. So every year, we always want to make sure that whoever comes here, they come here not just to learn football, but then to achieve something as well. Right? For a footballer, myself, being a footballer, I understand that in the age of, 14 to 17 to 18, we are in tremendous pressure that, we want to achieve something. Then only you're known as a footballer. After 20, nobody considers you as a footballer as well. That becomes like a hobby or a time pass for you. So, but then we are trying to change that here culture in Kickstart. And that's why even in the residential, I have grown up kids who are 22, 24, they still want to be a footballer, and we're supporting them. So, this being the main kind of focus where, we want to train as many professional players as possible, and with a good infrastructure, we give them the good kind of guidance with everything, not only just football, but with the dietary, with the nutrition, with the kind of exposure they need for that matter. So we'll be continuing this journey. And the dream definitely, I think 2 years down the line is to be in the I-League and then to be an ISL club. Like we started with the academy, we had a foundation, we became a club, we have become a women champion. So this is the foundation that we kind of built over a period of time in 7 years. Looks kind of huge period of time to do this, but trust me, it's one step at a time. We don't want to jump just like that. Yes, today if you're given an opportunity to go and be an ISL club or I-League club, we do have that potential. But then I said, no, first I want to do the youth foundation. Like the foundation has to be strong with our youth players. I think the kind of kids that I'm having here in the residential, whom I've been training from last 7 years, 6 years, 5 years, we've been there from the inception. I think they are doing really, really good. So with the same bunch of players, we want to build the team. And with this case, we want to go to the I-League. And that's where it will be the success story. So for me, I think end of the day, next 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, we want to produce more Indian players. We want to support kind of a lot of kids by helping them to fulfill their dreams of becoming a footballer. And more than that, I think by 2030, our dream is that the India should be in the World Cup. And for that, we want Kickstart to contribute. Our players have to contribute for India to qualify to the World Cup, like to produce as many Indian footballers as possible from our thing. And yes, these kids who are now 12, 13, by the age of they are in 20, I think that's dream is going to true. So yes, that's my personal goal.
Shekar, you mentioned that in the previous, I think, point you were saying that you are somebody who looks at the club at a distance. So continue to look at the club at a distance and making sure every minute detail is covered. What's the vision and what do you see in the coming years, having completed 7?
For Kickstart, very clearly that we want to build top quality infrastructure, and every infrastructure is going to be better than the last. When we did the JP Nagar ground, I always told people that this is going to be the smallest ground. Now, currently where we are seated is a 9-a-side, so that's going to be the smallest ground. We're not going to build 9-a-sides also. It's only going to be 11-a-sides. So I understand there are huge challenges when it comes to investing in infrastructure because land is not easily available. But we're working around that and working with institutions who are like-minded with us. But as everything says, during the inception, nobody is there. Not much of support is available. But fortunately, we have the right kind of people, our mentors and our investors who are looking up to us, and they're saying, okay, fine, let's go the whole hog. So this idea is to build 100 grounds in India, and I personally have a stiff target of 2030. Well, we will do it, and because I'm a believer in anything that I take up personally for me, and I do it, and I do it in style. But as far as an institution like Kickstart goes, a lot of people are involved. A lot of support is needed. I believe the vision that I see is also the same, that they at least acknowledge and then align, and then they see it, and then they believe it. So that's my responsibility as a leader. For us, infrastructure will dictate our future of the country. We are going to monetize this very well. You'll be surprised. We are going to work with some huge groundbreaking partners locally in thing. I'm not at this point in time, I'm not going to say that very clearly. So it'll because it's still in a very nascent shape and it's moving very fast for us. Having said that, one of the biggest visions that we have is we should change the entire vortex of the world looking at us. The whole world came looking into India. For what? For wealth. The whole world is looking at us. For what? For intellectual wealth. Very shortly, the whole world will also look at India for football wealth. It will happen. It is just a matter of time. It is transformational leaders like Satya and Kalyan and Harris sir and all those people. It's a fresh perspective that they're adding. They're making us believe in the vision that they have. It is a great opportunity that we've had a footballer, an Indian footballer, AF president, at the helm of affairs. And it's a great opportunity for all of us who are such football lovers. And this sport has got so much to offer. I always believe no other sport is a greater leveler than football, because you are as good as your team. You are as good as the man standing next to your shoulder. You are only as good as the people who support you, at the back end, and the person who's trying to score the goal. So it's a process. Football is not a game. Football is a way of life, because it involves a lot of characteristics of the society itself, right? Everybody has a role to play on the football ground and a bigger role to play at the background. So similarly, everybody should learn from this beautiful game. For no small reason, it is the largest followed game. For no small reason, it is the unifier of the world. And football will bring the world together, all of us together. Today we are sitting together from different backgrounds, and we are sitting because of football. So it's the greatness of this beautiful game. So it will change everything. It's all one big full circle. So I call it the circle of life.
Well, on that note, I think I only wish Kickstart FC a lot of style, finesse, May you achieve much greater heights, and may this just be a beginning. Thank you so much for spending this afternoon, sharing your story and having a sleepless night. But I hope this episode made worth the wait. But yeah, thank you so much, Laxman and Shekar, and best wishes to everything Kickstart has to offer. To all the lovely listeners, thank you so much once again. And this is me signing off from the Totally Indian Football Show. Once again, shout out to Unni for making this happen. Thank you so much. We're available on all the leading audio platforms. Thank you and see you the next week.